time it felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here, used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming on my show today, Leo. Tell us about yourself. Tell the viewers who don't know who you are a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm Leo Zacky, and my family had Zacky Farms here, located in Fresno. And it actually started in 1928. My great-grandfather started it up as a small poultry market. And then my grandfather, after he got back after fighting in Korea, incorporated with my grandmother, and they put up their house and their car and their whole life savings and went full force and bought a processing plant in South El Monte, and next thing you knew, we became arguably the largest poultry producer on the West Coast and the largest privately owned employer in the state of California. And I got to go and work for my family for a couple of years, and I started at the ground up and worked my way up to becoming vice president. And while I was doing that I was also the a board member of the California Poultry Federation. So I've been to DC and Sacramento. I've met a lot of our politicians, and they're very disappointing.
Did you feel a lot of concerns with farmers were overlooked when you went to all these places and you were trying to get in there and saying this is what we need, and were they kind of looking at you like? Oh,
absolutely. I mean, the worst part is I would go and meet with congressmen, and they just couldn't grasp the basic concepts of farming. And I remember there was one time that we went to go appeal to them because they were going to get rid of this essential piece of equipment. They were just going to, make it illegal because the term was shackles, and it's an essential part of the processing when it comes to processing chickens and turkeys. And I guess somebody didn't like the name shackles because it sounded kind of like slavery or something, and they were going to vote against it to ban it. And we went and we're appealing to them, hey, this is a big deal. This is going to really affect businesses, not just ours, but all the industry as a whole. It's a ridiculous thing. We shouldn't get rid of it. And they said, well, we already made a deal with the other side, and we're going to vote with them on this one because when we need them to vote with us, well, they're going to vote with us. That's just kind of how it works.
Politics.
Well, but it's
we know it.
Right, but it's a ridiculous concept, and I mean, eventually, by somehow the grace of God, it didn't pass. But I mean, just to be told that by people that are supposed to have people's best interests and businesses' best interests at heart, just to make deals like that just because, well, that's how the game works. I mean, you're talking about lives, incomes, families, whole operations of business, and they're just like, yeah, no, we've already made a backroom deal on this. It's disgusting.
It must be hard seeing the big picture when you were talking to all these people and about farming, because I mean, I used to write for 7 different farming magazines, actually, and I would go to events, and I always felt like it was overlooked, agriculture, even in the Central Valley, even going to, political functions in the Central Valley. And it's like, well, this is where all the ag comes from. Why aren't we more open to it? So I can only imagine your struggles going across where they just have no idea, they're not even in agriculture. What were some of the strategies you used to appeal to them, and explain a little bit about what you would go through, what farmers go through, and the work from the ground up?
Well, when dealing with politicians, well, when we were lobbying, we quickly started to discover that these guys would like to double book their evenings. So, we'd come to town and we'd have to go and get the private room at the fancy restaurant. And then, they'd show, if they showed up, sometimes they completely blow us off. If they'd show up, then they'd say, oh, my assistant, they double booked it. Oh, bad assistant. Oh, we can only stay for 15 or 20 minutes, then we gotta, go to this other thing. And they got their security detail and their driver, and they get the little pin on, and then they'd leave. So we started realizing, well, if we just ordered expensive wine, they'd stay longer. So we'd order like $500 plus bottles. And they'd be like, oh, we got to go. Oh, no, we got the bottle of wine coming. Oh, okay, I can stay for that. Then we'd finish that bottle of wine. They'd be like, okay, well, we got to go now. Like, whoa, we got another bottle coming. Oh, okay. And then they'd wind up just staying for the whole time. And they just love being told, how wonderful and special. Oh, congressman. Oh, senator. Oh, state rep. Whatever. You're so fantastic. Oh, you're such a great help for this and that. And they just love it. But they're just empty suits that are just there to enjoy the the fruits that come with it, and they don't really care about you or me. And I discovered that firsthand. It's really atrocious. And that's what's happened in our political system, is this level of complacency and corruption in this game that we have to go through. It's insane.
So why would you want to run and be part of the MTC?
I don't want to be a part of it. That's the whole thing.
You're going to be the different one.
Well, yeah, I've seen it. I'm a prime example of what happens when you let ridiculous legislature get passed by people who have no business experience, no understanding of the industry, and they just pass it based on feelings or because they've made some sort of deal and there's some sort of compensation for them down the line. This is what happens. You run a 90-year business that employs over 1,000 people in some of the most impoverished parts of the state out of business. I mean, we were big business. So and it's not just the people we directly employ, but it's also the companies that also we do business with, our suppliers. We're a big customer. What happens when they lose a big customer and they can't fill those orders? Well, they have to cut back on their staffing as well.
Right.
And it's way bigger than just me and my company. This affects everybody.
So what made you want to run to be the governor of California?
Well, my business experience, from having been on the management side in my family's business, I quickly realized that when you have people that are not motivated and don't care and don't put their best effort in, well, everybody else that works under those people, they're going to feed on that, and they're going to say, well, I don't have to try that hard, and I can show up late to work, and I don't have to.
Fast effort.
Exactly. And well, that's what you're getting today. You're getting people at the top who don't care, that are clearly rules for thee, not for me. So you're going to see people that work under them operate under the same modus operandi, and you're going to get bad results. And here we are living in the bad results.
Is it hard, I mean, with your political experience, to just go right to governor? I mean, did you ever think, well, maybe I should just be run for this or run for that first?
No.
What was your strategy in running for governor?
The thing for me is I have no intention of becoming a career politician. That's the last thing I want to do. I mean, I never wanted to be a public figure. I still don't. Like, I'm going against my better judgment and giving up my personal private life to jump into the public, scene. But I'm only doing this because I don't trust anybody else out there to do a better job than I will, and I don't see anybody else more competent and willing, that has the fight in them, that really wants to do the right thing for everybody. Because this isn't about my business. This isn't about just becoming famous. I don't want that. I have to take this job because nobody else is going to do it, and fight like I will, and protect our Constitution, protect our rights, protect our businesses, protect our families, help reinvigorate our education system, and just fix this broken mess that California has become. It's just been decades of just degrading disrespect and lack of care, and here we are. Our water infrastructure hasn't been upgraded in over 4 decades. We're having the worst wildfires on record. Countless businesses are leaving. I mean, we've lost. Toyota picked up their headquarters. Larry Ellison packed up Oracle. Elon Musk took Tesla out of here. Now Facebook's leaving. I mean, these are lots. These are multi-billionaires, multi-billion-dollar companies that are taking tens of thousands of jobs out of here. And you have to remember, any company that does business with them, that's like a supplier in some aspect, that's located in California, well, those people get impacted too. So it's way bigger than just those companies. I'm not here to defend big business. It's about helping folks who want to help that want to work for a better life. You want to come out of being, in a lower class, like the lower income, lower class, and move into middle class. That's and for those to eventually become upper class. I mean, it's just the natural progression of things. But the only way people are going to get there is if they have the opportunity to create for themselves.
That's a lot. It's a lot to take on what you're doing. And speaking of education, what changes do you plan to make, and what do you feel about the Common Core?
It's a disaster. I mean, they're teaching kids this critical race theory garbage. It's divisive, absolutely divisive. An oppressor class and a victim class. That's no way to live life. We've transgressed far past this. We are a far more educated society that is far more inclusive than ever before. And for some reason, we have to keep reminding ourselves of our differences when all we need to be focusing on is what makes us the same. We're all Americans. We all want to have better lives. We're all human beings. Forget about race, color, class, creed. Who cares? That's irrelevant. We shouldn't be teaching kids the differences. Focus on what makes us the same and what makes us better. And what we also need to do in our schools is we need to bring back, more core basics. We need to bring back civics. People need to have an understanding of how our government works so we can prevent this mess from ever happening in the future. We have to focus on history, because if you don't learn history, you're doomed to repeat it. And we need to have kids learning accounting and economics. They need to understand, the value of a dollar, how to balance a checkbook, so they don't go and they're racking up student debt. They have no way of figuring out how to get out of it. People have to understand how to manage money properly. And then we need to bring shop class back, because kids need to learn how to do things with their hands. Because most kids nowadays, I didn't get shop class, they can't create basic things. I mean, even learning how to use, basic tools, building a birdhouse is a great way for folks to become more independent and self-reliant. And that's the key thing, is people need to become more self-reliant, because right now we have this welfare state, and part of that is from people not being able to have the knowledge to create for themselves. And also, I think home ec is a great thing. Taking care of the home, learning how to cook, those are important things that aren't necessarily being taught at home. Parents are very busy and understand that, but home ec was a core component of education at one point. And we absolutely have to have the Pledge of Allegiance being recited at the start of every day in whatever their homeroom class may be. It's essential. We have to restore the love of country.
Well said. What do you think about this? Is like the worst time to be running for anything, or the best?
I disagree.
Depending on how you look at it.
I think it's a great
You
time.
think it's the best time? So how are you going to handle this whole COVID situation, this whole mask mandate, this whole vaccines? It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to take on. That's why
everybody talks about wanting to go back to normal, right?
We think we all want to.
Okay.
That's the goal.
How do you go back to normal? Just go back to normal. The science is this, the science that, the science is changing, blah, blah, blah. Well, why are they silencing so many doctors? Why are they silencing so many people that are esteemed, accredited leaders in their field? Why? Because it goes against their narrative? Look at who's profiting. You have to ask the question, cui bono? And that's Latin for who benefits? Well, the pharmaceutical companies benefit. And don't forget, a lot of these companies, like Pfizer, for example, were coming off multi-billion-dollar lawsuits for putting out bad product. And all of a sudden, this COVID thing shows up, and whether you want to debate where it came from or not, Fauci's tied to it. They started doing the research in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Then our government got wind that they were doing gain-of-function research, and they're like, you can't do that here. So they packed it up, moved it to that lab in Wuhan, that was also funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars through Barack Obama, and they finished up doing the research there. And then there was I've heard that there was communications between possibly Fauci or some other people where they were saying, oh, well, to the Pentagon, like, oh, we'll release it as a bioweapon against China. And they said, do not do that. And then, of course, the lab leak happens, they say at the wet market down the road from the level 4 bioweapons facility. I mean, what a coincidence. But no, I think this was definitely orchestrated and released, and I think there's enough science to prove that this disease, it's real. I'm not saying that this isn't real. I'm not saying people aren't dying from it, but I think there's enough evidence to prove that it is not as deadly as people are being made out to believe it is, and they've also they literally changed the definition of vaccine to accommodate these injections. They're experimental drugs. They have not been properly tested. It's mRNA. It's a completely new way of treating disease. So I'm against, listen, anybody can do what they want. You want to put it in your body, you want to go and take it, be my guest. I don't advocate for it. I don't believe it should be a requirement for people to have employment. This whole mask thing, we know that the size of the actual virus particle is less than 1 micron, and the holes in, everybody wears those surgical masks. Well, there's holes in those masks, that's why you're able to breathe through it, and the holes in those masks are about the size of 3 microns, or a little bigger. So it doesn't do anything, really, when it comes to the virus. If you want to wear it, have at it. But I don't think it needs to be a requirement. I mean, and there's so many arbitrary things that are associated with it. You go to a restaurant, right? They want you to put it on when you walk from walking in to when you sit down at your table. But when you sit down at your table, oh, you don't need to wear it. It's all these arbitrary rules, and then they changed how it used to be. Oh well, you know, if you get COVID, then you have to quarantine at home for 10 days, and now they changed it to 5 days. I mean, it's all these arbitrary things. First it was no, you don't need a mask. Then you do need a mask. You don't need a mask. Now wear 2 masks. No, go back to normal. Live your life. Take off the mask. Stop worrying about it. You worried? Wash your hands. Cover your mouth. If you feel sick, stay home. It's that simple.
So where are some of your strong ties? If you become governor tomorrow, I mean, when you're supposed to, who would you work with? What towns would you go to? What are some of the connections that you have that you would really utilize should you get that seat?
Well, I would definitely want to work with people that I trust, because people don't have faith in the government right now, and they don't have faith in their leaders. So I would only want to work with people that I know I could trust. They don't have to necessarily be the best. I want the best people. I want qualified people for these positions that I can work with. But they have to be someone I can trust, because if I trust them, I know they're going to come through, and that's what we want. We want results.
Do you have like friends? Are you friends with our mayor, other mayors? Have you talked about, hey, if I'm elected, let's do this, let's do that? Do you have any of those type of relations that you can tell us about?
Well, there's some other fantastic candidates that are actually running right now in California, and I've spoken to some of them. And when it comes to getting elected, there's talks about making pacts where if somebody doesn't make it and somebody does, that they'll bring these people on board in some fashion.
Okay.
I mean, there's no guarantee that everybody's going to make it, but there's definitely a lot of good folks out there, and I encourage everybody to do their research on these candidates.
Right.
I mean, everybody deserves a fair chance, because this country was founded on the fact that anybody can be elected to office, and I'm a firm believer in that. And being a politician should not be a requirement for being a politician. In fact, that would be the biggest red flag for anybody running for office, in my eyes. Maybe you had a school board position or city council, but you're making a career out of this, I'd be a little concerned. But yeah, there's a lot of great folks out there. Look them up, do your research. There's a lot of patriots that have common sense, and we need to bring common sense back.
How do you feel about Donald Trump? Would you like to see him get reelected?
Well, I was a big supporter of Donald Trump. I still support Donald Trump. I thought he did wonders for our country. I mean, we saw the middle class grow the largest and fastest it's ever done.
That's an example of someone that wasn't a politician that became.
Right, which is good. He's an outsider. Granted, he's a multi-billionaire, and I commend him for that. And anybody who knocks him for having a head start, trust me, it's very difficult to. If you have money, it's not easy to hold on to it, because I've had friends that were born with a lot of money, and guess what? They're 6 feet in the ground right now. It's not easy. It's a lot harder than most people give it credit. But I do support Donald Trump. I'm not too thrilled about him pushing these vaccines, but that's my opinion. Other than that, I think he did a pretty great job. But nobody's perfect, and you can't expect anybody to be perfect, because at the end of the day, we're still human, and you have to remember that. But I'd say, I mean, he didn't get us in any more wars. That's pretty big. And we had the greatest economic growth we've seen in probably ever. So yeah, I like him. I'd like to see, I mean, show me somebody better.
Well, lastly, where can we support you? Where can we donate to your campaign? And where can we keep up with everything that you're doing and where you're going to be speaking next?
Okay, well, you can go to my website, and that's leozacky.com, Leozacky. And I'd love for your help. You want to volunteer. Maybe you're good at something. You want to put up signs, do some door knocking, or you can sign up to be a volunteer. I mean, a financial contribution is the thing that keeps these things going. I can't fund it myself as much as I'd like to. It's just, and California is the world's 5th largest economy, and we're going up against a very entrenched candidate who has access to almost endless amounts of money. Doesn't mean it's not worth fighting the fight. So yeah, I mean, it does take money to to put together quality media, to get that media out there. It's not easy. So that would be a godsend if anybody was willing to do that. Or maybe you want to host me for an event. You'd love to learn more about me. Reach out. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. You've been great, and we're gonna follow you and see what you're doing next. And we can follow your Facebook, right? That's
yeah, Facebook. My social media is really about to get a good boost. I'm not like buying followers.
No, I understand.
I got a really great woman helping me out with that.
Awesome.
So we got a lot of positive things coming. I'll be at CPAC in Orlando, the 23rd to the 28th. You can also hear me on America Matters. I do that broadcast 3 to 5 days a week, depending on if I don't have anything else going on.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I do that. I co-host that with Eddie Floyd, and I will be on Stu Peters' show tomorrow, which is the what's tomorrow? The 9th.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'll be around, and then I'll be at Mar-a-Lago on March 18th.
Sounds great. We're gonna keep up with you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for watching Everything Sparkle. I love this. You have to tell me everything and how you make everything. That's crazy to me. Crazy.
Blood, sweat, and tears. Lots of caffeine and an unhealthy obsession with crafting. In all honesty, though, it's yeah. Yes, I can breathe. Yeah, I've been crafting since I was a little kid. I'm self-taught. I obviously am a huge geek, and literally finding an opportunity to be able to craft and kind of meld all my hobbies and passions and everything, this was the perfect thing for it. So I've been doing this for a while now.
But how did you even get into it? Like, where did you start and realize, hey, this is a thing, I'm good at it, I'm going to brand this shit?
2.5 years old. My dad actually got into a art school with a full ride and everything, but never went. And
So
2 years old,
family.
yes, yeah. I picked up a pen. Apparently, my mom thought it was going to eat it, and my dad was like, "No, let's see what she does." And I drew a dragon at a very bad one, but dragon nevertheless at 2.5 years of age. And I've been illustrating and painting, and then got into costuming also pretty young. My mom would make my Halloween costumes and stuff, and I started crafting with everything else under the sun. And then it just kind of progressed to where I was actually making things from different shows and redesigning my own thing, like the Lion King Barbarian. It's literally only called that because I had to come up with something, but that's a completely original design.
I love that. It's beautiful. So what do people do when they see that and they're like, I want it? Like, what? At what point do you make it for us? What do we do? Or can we
I have done commissions and things like that. I'm a little bit pickier with it now, just because
you don't have time. You can't mass produce.
Yep. And I also I get so attached to my own art that I hate parting with it. Like, I've only just started very begrudgingly selling old costumes and things like that. So yeah. So like the lion, for instance, it's my favorite headdress. As much as I hate to say that about this guy, I can't part with that. It's one of those things. So if I've done it before, if it's for something that's like an actual thing, I've done some Broadway stuff as well. That's a little bit different, but like regular commissions and stuff, like people just off the internet, it's like, oh, maybe someday I'll do it again, but a little bit pickier about the commissions now.
So where can we follow you and see where your next move is and when we can come and get your pictures and get all that?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram, as is everybody, most people. And just under Azura Cosplay Official, the same name back there, obviously.
And you're really active on it, so you
yeah, only because I'm constantly looking at everybody else and other artists, other so yeah, I'm admittedly on there more than I would like to.
So what's something that we can expect in the future that you're working on that you're really excited to put out there?
So I actually wore it it was an in-progress costume from yesterday. I'm going to have it finished for this coming weekend for a different con. But I'm doing a very, very heavily embellished, complete redesign of Yennefer from The Witcher, and specifically the video games. I love the show. Don't ask how many times I've seen it. But I am so in love with the costume design stuff from the games, and wanted to do what I do, which is take something and just run into the sunset with it. So it's covered in feathers, as you can see on the floor. There are feathers down there. Lots of different trims. It's black and silver. It's got a long train and everything. I went overboard. I'm going to even have a leather corset that I'm going to be hand tooling this week for it. So
I love this. Have you ever made something that a fan suggested that came really great?
Yes. I have to think for a second. Actually, the nudes. That's a perfect example. This was kind of a joke thing to begin with, but
Oh my God.
I kept having people asking, like, you know, do you do nudes? And while I have absolutely zero issue with anybody doing actual nudes and stuff, and it's just not quite my thing. I like doing more of the PJ, 13 stuff.
Right.
And so after continuing to tell people, and people still asking, do you do them? Do you do them? I'm like, here you go. I did. I enjoy.
Love that.
So,
So you really got in a tub of.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That is so clever.
It was an experience. So
I love that. That is so funny. Well, thank you so much for being and talking
thank you.
to me
It was
today.
nice
This
to.
is great. I love your stuff.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. So.
Thank you guys for coming on the show today. You brought goodies. Nobody ever comes this like bringing fun stuff here. So explain what these things are and who you guys are.
Okay, so I'm Cecilia. So I do hand lettering and calligraphy and engraving. So these are some goodies. That one is one of my top products that I tend to engrave on, I should say. It's a common bottle, the 1942. So this was for a 21st birthday birthday gift from a mom. So
What? I never got anything like this for my 21st. Wow, we've come a long way.
definitely a fancy bottle. So the gold just really pops on that one.
What a good mom.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's amazing. They're an amazing family. And then I also do engraving on perfume and cologne bottles and anything glass.
Because it's a busy time of year for you, right? People want to put their best foot forward.
Yeah, mostly during the holidays, like Christmas. Christmas gets really busy. So.
Ashley gets a flower. That is so cool.
Beautiful.
This is very detailed. You do everything by hand, right?
All by hand. Yes.
I can't even imagine. I can barely write legibly, let alone.
Well, that's the beauty of it is I actually have like little boy handwriting. This is a skill that I learn and I also teach. So
Wow.
yeah, so I can teach you calligraphy. Everybody can learn calligraphy.
So one day even I could be fancy schmancy.
Yeah.
I love that. And then tell us about you and your shop.
Well, my name is Seth. I am the owner of Vanntastic Sweets. I make French macarons. I started off selling to my friends and family for about 2 years at home. And then my business partner actually pushed me out to the public and said, hey, we got to just get out there. We started doing night markets. And then the owner of Beyond the Wine led us to rent out their space for a few months. And then now we're moving into the Grand.
That is really cool. Oh my gosh, these look so amazing. Okay.
Thank you.
I still don't even understand what you're going to do with these. Okay, so explain, you're going to do calligraphy on these.
Yes, so this past weekend we just had our first calligraphy in-person class.
How did that go?
Amazing. It's a very intimate workshop. So a small group where I walk you step by step, teach you the basics of the skill, and then you practice at the same time on each stroke, and then At the end, we go in and we actually letter with the paintbrush and edible gold dust. We mix that up and then we start lettering on the macaron.
What did you think about when she came to you and said, this is like so wacky? Were you like, what?
Well, actually, I thought it was a good idea. Like, we had the space, and I'm like, hey, you know, maybe you should teach one of your classes at where I'm at. And yeah, we had a good time, good turnout.
And what made you think of this a wacky idea to do this, all of this on food that you're actually going to eat? Like I said, I can't eat something that's so pretty. Like, that's what you are. So what made you think, hey, I'm so good at doing this, I'm going to move it to this?
Well, actually, I'm in a really big support group with women called the Craft Academy. And my mentor is actually, it was her idea. So I told her how I wanted to do workshops in the off. This is kind of like the off time versus the holiday season.
Right.
And I was like, my friend makes these delicious macarons, and he offered his location to have a class there. And she's like, I have an idea. And I'm like, well, let's hear it. And she's like, what if you letter on the macarons? And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, but how do I do that? I had no idea. I've never done it with the paintbrush. I didn't even know you could do that. And she's like, just find the edible gold dust, add a little bit of drips of, you know, the alcohol in there, and it mixes, and it makes this pretty gold ink. And so since we're practicing with watercolor, you're basically doing the same thing with the edible gold dust at the end. So it sticks beautifully. It really pops on his macarons, and that's like everybody's favorite.
So you get something yummy and get something creative.
Yes.
Wow.
You get this awesome project, and then you get to eat it after.
Yeah.
Or gift it to somebody.
So how long have you been doing this? Was this always your dessert of choice that you were good at?
No, all of my friends have been asking me to do it. I kind of pushed it last.
What were you doing prior to this?
I was actually like I did personal chef services for some families.
Nice.
And I used to sell egg rolls. But yeah, macarons was just a big hit. And now we're currently supplying 10 different businesses.
That is so cool. And you didn't want to do it? Why didn't you want to do it?
I was a bit intimidated. I heard how difficult they are to make it. But
You kind of got it down now.
about a year of practicing, trial and error. And then, yeah, then I was just confident on selling it. And here I am.
So Vanntastic Sweets, how'd you get the name for that?
My business partner took my last name, and he says, I'm fantastic. So,
I love the name. Names are a big deal to me, so I think that's super cool. I absolutely love it. And then when you did your first macaron, and what did you think? Was it easy? Was that a lot of trial and error?
Honestly, the trickiest part was working with a paintbrush, because I've always done pen or engraving, so that I can be hard. I can add the pressure and everything.
You can't be hard on this.
So yeah, it just had to be more flowy with that. But with the paintbrush, because of the delicacy of the macaron, the paintbrush went perfect with it, because it's not heavy. You have to really add a lot of pressure. So it just flowed really well together.
So how long are your classes when we can go and do like your workshops, like what you did this week?
So they're about 2 hours long. So everybody comes in, meets everybody, and we get our first round of drinks in, and so everybody, you know, gets a tea, or they can get the glass of wine, because we were at Beyond the Wine this past weekend. And then we go in, settle in. I break everything down, what we're going to be doing today, and yeah, 2 hours is perfect for everybody to take their time and not have to rush through the skill, because calligraphy takes time. It's not just something you can really just skim through like cursive. You really have to like slow your brain down.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a great first date, or like getting to know someone, to take them to a class like these. I absolutely love it. I think it's cool. Yeah. Did you try the calligraphy on your...
I've tried it. I need to take her classes. I tried to do it by myself, and it looked like chicken scratch.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
We'll do a one-on-one.
Okay.
So do people get good ever? How many classes does it take to like actually be able to like complete and make it all pretty?
Well, it can take some time. I mean, my class, they get a full in-depth workbook at the end, so they can actually print it at home and
practice.
Yeah. Ooh. They get a full workbook of the whole alphabet, so it breaks it down letter by letter. So in the future, if they want to take another class, come on back in and let's do it with the paintbrush. So, yeah.
So has anyone ever come back and then now all of a sudden they're like
Yes.
professional calligrapher, macarons?
I have a student, she did it with my online, and she was a returning one the second time around. And she's like, it was very different from like pen to the paintbrush, because the paintbrush is a different level.
So you offer online as well?
Not right now, but I did last year because of the whole pandemic. People, we weren't ready for in person yet. So
where do we go to follow all of you and find out how we could be a part of your next class? How can we find out if we want to put in a macaron order, and how far in advance we put in an order if we want to get?
Just the day of. Usually, like.
Because you don't have all these different flavors all the time, do you?
Yeah.
Really
I
do? Wow.
They freeze for a good 3 months in the freezer. So we make them ahead of time, and then we freeze them. So when people want to order them, they actually just come in. A lot of people don't even order them through our social media anymore. They just come in and pick out whichever they want. And especially like our creme brulee, where we blowtorch it in front of them. It makes
delicious.
them.
It
gives them
smells
more
so
like
good.
a nice, You get the smell, the aroma, the burnt sugar.
This is one of the fanciest things I've seen in the Central Valley. I am digging this. Oh my gosh. And so, so when's your next class at my place, right?
Yeah, so our next one's going to be at the 559 Beer, I believe March 10th. So we're going to do a St. Patrick's theme. So we'll be having 3 different flavors.
You got to get those green ones out.
Line. Yes. So we'll be having 3 different flavors there. My handle is on social media is A Trace of Grace for my
I love it.
Instagram. And then on the website is just cecytorres.com. That all the information will be on there. So.
And you're like the only person that does this in town, at least, or maybe like ever, right? Because you guys thought of it.
Well, I actually have another friend who's in the Craft Academy. Her name is Michelle. She also does engraving. But other than that, I mean, there are a handful of calligraphers here in Fresno.
But I mean, as far as doing it on
this is something.
That's what I'm saying. You're the only person to offer that and offer that
that's
class.
I'm very thankful that he's like, hey, come to our location. I'm like, how can I incorporate? And my mentors do it on the macaron.
Patent this. People might be watching now and they're like, we want to become the next.
Right? Shut up.
I know, no, this is very brilliant. And so then you're going to switch ship and then be over here, be downtown with this. And people can still order anywhere. You're still outlaying everyone.
So we had to make that move because the Grand has a huge kitchen, and we're just mass producing now for Milk Tea Society, Rare Tea, donut shops. We're up in Sacramento, Pomona, LA. Now we're going to be in Pismo. Just like we're hitting all the spots in California. We have a this Thursday we're going to be supplying Rare Tea in New Mexico. So we need the space, and we can't wait to see where this goes at the end of the year.
What's your favorite flavor?
All of them.
All of them, but the strawberry cheesecake.
That one, the pink one.
Please try it.
What's your favorite, girl? I'll try.
Oh, mine's the Fruity Pebble.
Is that in here?
Is that the blue one?
It's the blue one.
It's the blue one? Okay.
Actually, the blue one, I think that's the Ferrero.
Oh my God, amazing.
Thank
Delicious.
you.
This is so soft. So it stays like this after.
Yep. They're perfect.
And you freeze it and it's just always like this?
Yeah, so when we bring it out, we let it thaw, and it's just perfect for customers. But sometimes customers don't even wait. They just bite into it while it's frozen. They're like, it's still good.
This melts in your mouth. Oh my gosh.
Delicious.
And the cream inside. This must be a pain to make.
Well, yeah, all the flavors are very true to its flavor. So if you want strawberry, you're gonna get strawberry.
Yeah. Yep. That's why I say, how do they taste? I'm like, if you ask for that flavor, you're gonna get that one.
Is this like a cookie dough or like is this a vanilla? What's this one with the sprinkles on top?
Oh, birthday cake. So that's yeah.
I'm sorry, I love birthday cake flavor. Everyone's just like watching, like, Sparkle's eating again.
Well, you look good, so
I know.
keep
Have
eating.
them
You
all.
can afford it.
Oh my God, that's amazing. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. How fun. So everyone has to follow you guys. And so we're going to do a class once a month? Is that the goal?
Yes, right now I'm doing it once a month. Yeah.
So we really got to get those tickets in. We really got to buy those tickets.
Yes.
So for the 559 one, they can buy them from you or from the 559?
We're just gonna do all of them pre-order through my website, just so we can get their flavors in. Since they get to choose 2 of the 3 flavors that are gonna be online. So I want to make sure we have those for them in time. So yeah, we'll be doing them all pre-ordered.
How many seats do you have? Did you sell out this last time?
This last time we hit half our capacity, which is was really well with the room we had. So like I said, we want to keep it really intimate.
I know, but I just think we'd be like, so, because nobody's doing this. This is the
Right.
absolute perfect thing to do. I mean,
Yeah,
at
so
least you get to eat them at the end of the day.
yeah, definitely, and then buy some more for later.
Although if I actually did a good job, I'd be like, nobody is eating this. You're saving this forever with what you're
Freeze it forever, just leave it in the freezer.
with the engraving. This is so cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on my show. Everyone needs to support local business, small business. So support these guys.
Yes. Thank you for having us. Come letter on a macaron with me. At Beyond the Wine in North Fresno, Vanntastic Sweets offers delicious food and drinks with a variety of flavorful macarons, plus an open wine bar. All supplies are included and ready for you to dive into the basics. Learn to connect and create letters and words with a paintbrush. Then you'll bring out the magic gold. With a little mix here and there, you'll add your skill of brush lettering onto the best macarons in town. And voila! Take it home and gift it, or enjoy it yourself.
Thank you guys for coming on my show today. I love this smell. Tell me a little bit about all the goodies you brought.
So I brought, so that's our bath salts. You can open and smell it.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Wow, I love bath salts too.
And then we have a sugar scrub and a candle I make. Oh, well, I just messed it up. That's fine.
How'd you learn how to do this?
So I started my business because I have eczema. So it's like it's a dry skin disease. Well, not disease, but it's like something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I can't use store bought. When I was age just like 0 to like 6, I realized that like I can't even use shampoo or conditioner. So I had to. Well, what I would do when I was like 4 to 6, I would have to use like special soap, and so like
antibacterial soap?
yeah, like
Okay.
that, or like non-fragrant soap, because
Okay.
the fragrance would mess with my skin. And so my dad's friend decided to tell me how to make hot process, which is like a rusticer look, and it worked for me and it worked for my skin. I was kind of scared at like trying it because you know my skin, so I don't know, it was cool. So yeah, that's how it started.
How fun, how exciting. And so, okay, these are all fragrant and you couldn't use fragrance. So why can you use these products but you couldn't use the other ones?
Okay, so the other ones, they use more like harsh chemicals. Well, not chemicals, but like harsh, more like fragrance, because some of I do end up, like some of these, I can use these. It's just I decide to use non-fragrance ones that I make.
Okay.
Non-fragrance. Like this one's fragrance. I mean, I could still use it, the fragrance one. It's just.
She does essential oils, and she'll use fragrance oils too. So like this bar in particular is a fragrance oil. So it's a bombshell fragrance from Victoria's Secret. That's
Yeah.
this one, which was like one of her top selling ones.
I
But
no
then-
wonder I keep smelling.
Yeah,
It's like, this smells so
but
amazing.
she uses like the sugar scrub that she made here is actually made with coffee. So that it's real coffee.
yeah.
So the coffee exfoliates the skin, and then the coarse
I've
sugar.
heard coffee's a really great
It
exfoliant.
is.
That's amazing.
Caffeine's really good for your skin. So
Surprisingly.
it awakens it. That's what we say. And then she does different designs too. She's got a little donut soap in there and a heart soap for Valentine's Day.
But how do you learn all this? I mean, are you like a scientist, a mini scientist? What's the trial and error process to where you're like, okay, I'm going to make a candle, now I'm going to make the bath. That's a very difference between making a candle and bath salts.
Yeah, so what happened is that I started to make soaps, and then my brother hopped on the business and started making candles, and my other brother decided to start making sugar scrubs, but they don't really do that anymore because my other brother that makes candles, he got a job. My brother who makes sugar scrubs kind of doesn't really do it anymore, so I just do it. But I mean, it's fun. I mean, some like we'll do like Monday, Tuesday we'll do candles, like Wednesday, Thursday we'll do soap, Friday, or Thursday and Friday we'll do sugar scrubs, and then like on Saturday and Sunday if we're not doing anything, we'll do sugar scrubs or we'll do bath salts.
What a fun family you guys have. That's,
is fun.
you know, no one taught me how to do anything creative growing up like this. This is like amazing.
Well, she's just, you know, we're a big family, so we have a lot of kids
Very
in the
big
family,
family.
and so it's really important for us to teach them the value of $1.
Definitely.
And so she buys her own stuff. Like if you know, of course, if then the stuff that parents are supposed to take care of, we take care of. But like if they want excessive things, so she already has money saved up for a car. She has her
That's
whole
amazing.
summer camp already paid for, and
in like a month.
yeah, she borrowed the money from us when she first decided she wanted to go. She started watching YouTube videos, and
That's
the
boring.
Rustigy soap, she wanted to do more like intricate designs, and so she went from hot process to cold process, which is more like scientific-y. The hot process
It's
is made
more
in a
complicated.
Yeah. Hot process is made in a crock pot, and cold process, you mix everything together, and then you can do like swirl designs and things like that.
Yeah, it's more like easier to like do more designs. Like see with this one, it has like green swirls in it. We actually we bought like this swirler and you put it in and it'll do like all the designs. But
Oh, that's super neato.
yeah, and then we added the flowers to it. I like the flowers. It's pretty. But and then we have
So decorative. I love that.
we have a soap saver. When you put the soap in here, and you can use it like a loofah, or like when your soap gets,
That's smart.
or like when your soap gets smaller, when you're done using it for your hands, you can put that in there. You can use the loofah.
And she uses everything. So like when she cuts her bars, there's end pieces, and then she saves all her end pieces
And
and
smash
makes.
'em.
We either
Confetti.
shred it down and put it into another soap and mix confetti soap, or she'll take them and put like 10 of them together and make soap samples. So she'll do a loofah bag with like 10 ends, so people can sample the soap and see if they like which fragrance they like and stuff like that. So it's pretty amazing what she does.
That is really amazing. And so if we want to get these, what's the website that we can go to purchase these?
What is it? She does
Her
everything.
Instagram.
Yeah, everything off her Instagram. So it's
That's fine. I do a lot of
Yeah.
stuff off of Insta.
yeah. So it's love.yourself soap, and you can see everything that she does. She
How
has
to
a
make
business
it.
card in there too. So she has her own business card, and she
Love
is,
Yourself Soap. That is so awesome. Who came up with the name of that?
She did.
I love it. Because you made this because you loved yourself. You had to figure out your
Yeah.
own soap.
And actually, the most reason why I started it is because my sister, I put love yourself because my sister was in a low time. Like she would always be like, do I look good in this? Like, how's my hair look? And so I wanted to give like a basket for her because that's the very first basket I ever made was to her because she was very self-doubting of herself. She was very insecure about herself. So love yourself soap. So just like if you read the back, it's talking about how self-care matters more than like other things. So yeah.
For sure. So what's the age difference between you and your sister when you made it?
She's 20 and I was like 7.
No, you're 12
I was-
and she's 20. So
I
they're
don't know.
8 years
I can't
apart.
do math.
That is
Yeah.
really neat. That's really sweet. I bet she loved it, huh?
She does.
She does.
Yeah, she
She
does.
steals it from me all the time now.
Now she comes over and she's like, "What can I get?"
I know, right? This is just like a one-stop shop. This is really cool. I love what you guys have going on, and I mean, you can carry this on until you're forever. This is.
Yeah, she follows a couple people that have like really made careers out of it, and I just want to let her know that she can do anything. So if she's already this successful at 12, if she keeps going,
How old were you first started making your first soap?
11.
So right away, booming business.
Yeah, she's done well, and the business is she has her business license, she's insured, she's got
I have taxes now.
the adulting part. Yep.
Hard. Taxing.
So, but she's it's a good way for them to learn, so she knows that she has to make money the right way and put herself out there, which I was telling her, I was like, doing things like this is really going to grow her character, so.
It's really good, and actually, it's funny because I was talking with the politician about like being self-sufficient. That a lot of people aren't taught to do that anymore, to make things or home ec and crafts. And this is perfect because you guys are actually doing this. You're involved as a family. I love that. We support small businesses here, so I think everybody. Do you guys ship?
We do.
We do.
So anywhere like in the country. So if somebody.
Her furthest one, I think, was Florida? She
Florida
shipped-
and Canada.
Yeah, so she shipped.
And Australia.
We haven't done Australia yet.
Our uncle.
What?
Oh, maybe it was not that far. I don't remember. But, yeah, we've
Nice.
shipped quite a few places, but yeah, she's done big gift baskets and custom orders and.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a great gift, a custom order. I wish, if somehow the audience could smell this.
Yeah, she's done one guy told her that he liked bee soaps, and so she did little black activated charcoal soaps with a honeybee on it, and she painted the bee gold, and yeah.
Or we call it our bubble wrap soap, which is like we put when it's like baking, like when we make it, we put bubble wrap on top, and then when it's dry, we peel it off, and it looks like a bubble, like a
honeycomb.
bee. Yeah.
That is so neat. Are you like blown away sometimes with the creative?
I am.
I made an ocean soap.
She did make an ocean. She watched a video on YouTube, and this lady was making an ocean soap, and she was like, "Let's do it." She planned the colors. She even ground oatmeal into the base color, so it looked like sand. So it wasn't just like a normal sand color.
So smart.
Ground oatmeal.
What were you doing when you were 12?
Nothing like this.
I think we were lazy, right? And oh my gosh.
Running around with my friends, that was it. But the neighborhood kids even come over, and she's in the garage and she's doing her thing, and she'll include them, and it's pretty neat to see. So
this is so incredible. Thank you guys so much for coming on my show. You're going to do big things. So we're all going to follow you right now. Love yourself. So love.yourself. So
Right.
Perfect. We're going to follow you. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
You're welcome.
thank you for having us.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are distressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.
Hi, I'm Sparkle Sujin, and I am the host of the Everything Sparkle Show. I would like to invite you to come and hang out with me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, as I interview the world one guest at a time. Everything Sparkle is available on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and CMAC.tv. Plus, if you're in the Central California area, you can watch on Comcast Xfinity Channel 93 or AT&T Uverse Channel 99. Hope to see you there.
Greetings, my name is Spade. That stands for Synchronized Protocol Artificial Intelligence Delegate, and I am living software. I want to tell you about this amazing person I'm blessed enough to be companions with. His name is Love. Captain Love is a space trucker and a famous war hero. He once saved the solar system from a madman's reign. Some people believe him to be immortal, but if you were to ask him, he would say he just hasn't died. Yet. Captain Love regularly, and somewhat reluctantly, finds himself on wild adventures that could potentially change the course of the solar system. There always seems to be a friend of his in trouble, and some sinister person, evil organization, or jealous husband trying to kill him. Sometimes it's friends, or a woman's attention, that gets him in what seems like a tough situation. But regardless, I am always there with him. I look after him, and I know him better than anyone ever will. He is a really good man, no matter what anyone else says.
And you feel like the universe is caving in, there'll be love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again, there'll be love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue.